Hi, I just thought I would make a quick break because one of my viewers on YouTube, my YouTube channel, Sten Martin 1990, asked if I could show a drape, which included a stand-up collar in a front piece. So I thought I maybe could try to do that. Not quite sure what she meant. Is this a show collar? But that was not the case. So I was just thought I would try to do a thing here. What is important if you want to have the color within the front piece or waist, front part of the waist, is that you keep it quite high up here. Before we talked about we can have it up here if you cut out the neckline, but now you have to be sure that it can continue all the way to the back. So you just test it so you can go all the way to the back, and then you can just place it up here. And the problem with this, if you want to incorporate it, is that you further you place it on one side over center front, you more tilted it will be over here. So if you start up here and you go over here, you can actually see that you get a kind of drape up here that you probably don't want. And you get a crease down here because it's straight up here, and the more you tilt it over, the more crease you get here. So if you think zipper or a closure, it will be easier because then you can just tilt it up and around at the center to the center back. And what you also have to do is incorporate the bust start. That's an important thing, and you have to calculate that you have to have some sewing allowance up here. So you cut down to the neckline. But we just try to do one thing here. We don't put it so far out, so far over center front, just about 1.5 centimeters. And in inches, I don't know what that is. I can't calculate that in my head. But it's a standard closure anyway for buttons. And then I pin it to place out here, and I usually have it in the bust line level, but of course you can do whatever you want, and the further down you place it, the easier it will be for you, because if you come all the way down here, it just turns around like this. So your higher closure you got, you more difficult it will be. No. Have to make it straight here too. And then you want to balance it. So you turn it around to the side, and you check. Now it's a little bit too long for the image I can see here, but you check that you have a straight thread crosswise. And then you pin it in place here. I usually like to drape all the way around to the back, so I use the shoulder width for enough width for the arm side down here, so it doesn't get too tight if you want to put a sleeve into it. And then you turn it away to the back over here. Then of course you cut down here to get the front and the back, but that's not the issue right now. And then I shorten it a little bit up here, just so we can see the straight, hopefully, line to the back. And just put some pins down here to keep it in place. And of course I have to mark center front up there approximately. And then I would like to find the neckline, and then I have to I also have to decide what I want to do with the bust start. If I can incorporate it into the neckline, I get more fabric up here, so it's easier to form it. But it's not, I maybe don't want to do that. But you can, for example, take it out here and have your bust start up here or out, but always have enough here for a double sewing allowance in the neck point here. So I think I will try to incorporate it in here. So I just make it straight or flat, and then I find the shoulder seam neck line intersection, and I cut from up here. So I find it there, and then I cut just, if you can see, I just cut in an angle, in a straight angle, down to the neck intersection, and not too far down, and then suddenly everything gets released up here. So I can continue my shoulder back for whatever I would like. If I want my shoulder seam further back or whatever. If I do want to clear the arm side, I of course cut down here to make the arm side. And of course, if we don't want it straight, we just pin it in the waistline. And what happens when you pin it in the waistline is that it raises up here, so you have to adjust it for whatever you would like to do. But anyway, if you look up here, then you can see if I turn this down, of course it would be interesting to have a straight line here if you have stripes or something. Then if you turn it down here, you can see you get a crease here. And then you can just turn it up and back. But you get a tension here. I don't know if that can be seen. It's like it's folding, and that's where you can do interesting things. For example, you can do a double crease up here, and then you get a hold the neck incorporated in a jacket drape, and it will look ever so nicely, of course in softer fabric, and then it would turn into an interesting center back up here, and then you get a nice drape up here. If you don't want that, you have to make this dart wider to get all this fabric in here, and then you can stretch it ever so lightly out here to get it to turn around into the back like that. But of course you have to stretch it here to get an even look. From the side you can see it looks really nice if you give it a stretch, and then you have the, for example, neckline down back here. And of course the problem is down here. If you want to make it, sew it really pointy, stitch it down or something like that, which I suggest you don't. Try to keep it simple. Then you will have this feeling that you want to remove something here because of the tilt up here. But that's the trick, to try to drape it softly up there. So that was a little bit how you do it up there. And of course you have to mark the dart in here, and then you have to decide how much facing you want in here. If you do want to do it a little bit more interesting, you remove this and transport the jacket out, and as we haven't cut up here, and then the jacket ends, for example, out here. Just put some random pins in here, and then you have the bust dart up here, and the color transports up to the center back, and here it gets tightened. And then you can move out some fabric here for a waistcoat or something like that. So it turns out here. Try to do it a little bit quick so it doesn't take all of your time. I try to tighten it a little bit out here and keep it straight at center front. Then you can see the double drape you get up here. And then of course you adjust it ever so slightly out here so you get a softer drape on your jacket. And this is more like a 50s look when they had these double drapes here. So you have the front all clear here. It goes in as a waistcoat in here, and you just cut it in here to make it turn in. And you have a facing for this one, and they have a front turning up as a collar, stand-up collar, so it's not tilted over. But if you want to tilt it over, you can of course also do that, and then it's much easier to fit it, and then you just turn it over like an extra shawl collar. So that's what I had today, and of course you can do it in a shape if you would like that. So I hope this was something that you liked, you wanted to see, and if you would like to ask me some other questions, just comment below here or write to me on my email, so I try to show you how you can do it. Thank you and have a nice evening, and I hope to see you soon again. Bye.